There's a group of Cohocks down by the shoreline. I'll leave you a cannon. You know what to do.
Ha ha ha! Cannon go boom!
Dang it, Mr. Grizz. There's more stuff you didn't train your workers on?
That's a shame, mamma mia!
Oh my goodness. Hi, I'm Vasko, and I'm here once again to officially give you your unofficial training. This time in Salmon Run cannons. The Cannons Wave, officially called Cohock Charge by absolutely no one, is a nighttime wave exclusive to low tides. Depending on the stage, there will be 2 or 3 cannons available for use, and only Cohocks and Boss Salmonid will spawn. In my opinion, it's the easiest of the nighttime waves, and you should never wipe on this one, but people still do. And even though Mr. Grizz still hasn't paid me for the last 2 trainings, I want to make sure y'all know how these things work. While in a cannon, you can fire up to 10 shots, each using up 10% of your ink tank, which is an absolute steal considering a splat bomb uses 70%. Each missile launched from the cannon functions very similar to a splashdown, splatting a bunch of Cohocks in a small area of effect and being able to one-shot a bunch of bosses just like a splashdown does. So basically, a cannon gives you 10 long-range splashdowns per ink tank. This means that most of the time you should be able to handle this wave with only one person in a cannon, maybe a second one hopping in if things are getting messy or Salmonids start spawning in on the other side of the map. Before I go over how to work the cannon, here's your job if you aren't in one. Collect golden eggs. Don't guard the eggs, don't try to fight the steelheads, just deliver. Second, you see a maw, throw a bomb at it. It'll retarget to the closest player after attack, and if that's your cannon, they're in big trouble. That's because while inside of the cannon, they won't be able to see that a maw is about to eat them. Finally, make sure that flyfish are facing the cannons. They're hard enough to splat as is, no need to make them even harder by having them face sideways. Now what about when you're in the cannon? Your job is to splat every salmonid that isn't a maw. Since a missile works like a splashdown, you can one-shot steelheads by hitting anywhere on their body while they're trying to attack. Drizzlers have to be hit twice. Your 2 main enemies are going to be stingers and flyfish. As a cannon, your job is to splat both of these bosses as soon as they spawn in, because if you let them live long enough to attack, you've basically lost the wave. Stingers will target the player furthest from them, and that happens to be you, vibing in the cannon. Good news is that you can basically one-shot the stinger. Just aim for the lower half of their body. Remember, it's a splashdown, not Thanos. Flyfish are the hardest things to splat until you figure out the trick. If the flyfish is right in front of the cannon, just aim for the upper half of the bottom rim. If it's far away though, the trick is to align the top line of that little aim predictor thing with the lower rim of the bin. Maybe seeing it zoomed in and slow mode will help you out a bit. It is very important that you splat flyfish and stingers as soon as possible, since their attacks make it nearly impossible for anyone to hop in and use a cannon. And then the other bosses start to spawn in, the egg collectors panic and start using their specials, and before you know it, Mr. Grizz is scolding you for failing the run. I'm not saying to ignore everything else that's going on, but to make sure and prioritize those 2 bosses whenever possible. Last thing to remember about the cannons is that while inside of them, your ink tank will not refill, so you will have to hop out and recharge every once in a while. I'd recommend doing so when you have about 1 or 2 shots left. That way you can jump right back in if a stinger tries to spawn in while recharging, or have enough ink to run away if something is targeting you. Speaking of running away, I think that's all the tips I got. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments below, and also if there's any other Salmon Run related things y'all need training on. Also, big thanks to my supporters on Patreon for making this video possible, since Mr. Grizz is still being a Scrooge, and AlphaStar and Captain Astronaut for lending me their voices at the beginning of the video. Check them out, they're both great.